So our next talk is discovering what you're known for, a contextual Poisson factorization approach.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Haokai, and I'm from Texas A&M University. So my talk today will be titled Discovering What You're Known For, a Contextual Factorization Approach. So this is a joint work with my advisor, Dr. James Caverlee, and my colleague, Wei. So nowadays, people express many different interests on social media. And accordingly, there are many different previous works which have been dedicated to finding users' many different interests. So as an example, we have two users, Mike and Jay, and there are many expressed different interests. So as we can see from this figure, there are many interests are very personal and self-defined. However, what are they really known by others? So it turns out that Mike is mainly known for startup and entrepreneurship by others, and Jay, on the other hand, he is mainly known for powerlift and trainer. So as we can see from this figure, what users are known by others is essentially reflected by the views of others. So let me give you two real Twitter examples. So the first is Tim Cook. And as we can see from his personal top profile, as his personal interest, he is a fan of Auburn football and Duke basketball. But already, of course, we all know him as the CEO of Apple. And as the second lesser-known user, so as her personal interest, so she's mainly interested in photography, architecture, vintage science, and roadside finds. However, if you look into her online activities and social networks, we can find that she is mainly known for marketing and PR. So why do we care? Why do we want to find what users are known for? So it turns out that by doing this, it allows us to separate what users are known for from their personal interests, which leads better user profiling. So by using users' distinguished profiles, we can be able to find knowledgeable users from different fields, and we can make customized recommendations based on what experts prefer, so which leads to better recommendation. So before I introduce our official problem statement, let me give you a formal definition of what users known for profile is. So a user's known for profile is defined to be a subset of tags which can best describe what this user is known for. So for example, Mike is best known for entrepreneurship and startup. So we have two tags, entrepreneurship and startup, as his known for profile. So we define our problem as users known for profile discovery, which is that given labeled users with known for profile, we would like to identify the known for profiles for those unlabeled users. So identifying users known for profile is challenging. So one overarching challenge is for high-profile people, it's easier for us to recognize what they're known for. However, there exists a large number of long-tail users whose known for profile are very difficult to judge. And a second challenge is that from the recommender system point of view, this is actually a complete cold start situation. So here, we can consider Mike and Jay as the existing users in the recommender system with their known for profile already known. And we are trying to recommend to a new user, Lily, the relevant tags which can best describe her known for profile. So from the collaborative filtering point of view, Lily does not have any tags to be used to compare with others and select most similar users to herself. So traditional neighborhood-based methods would fail in this situation. So to overcome these challenges, we propose our solution, which is called Bayesian contextual Poisson factorization. So our method uses contextual factors, which is uses content, uses location, and what uses social connections. And this method can very naturally, it combines these users' contextual factors due to the additivity of Poisson distributions. So our framework goes as follows. So given the observed data, we have labeled users with their known-for profile and unlabeled users, all of their content, their corresponding locations, and their social networks. So first, we build a collective probabilistic factorization, and then we develop an approximate inference to learn these latent parameters. So from these learned parameters, we can obtain users' content, location, and their social influence and tag factors, through which we can recommend for a new user what he is best known for. So let's turn to the first factor, which is users' content. So given three users, John, Mike, and Bob, and we can see that John and Mike post similar content, which is data mining and recommender systems. So in this case, we should assume that they have similar topic preference. However, for Mike and Bob, because they are known as startup, so in this situation, we should assume that Mike and Bob have the similar tag preference. So this example is telling us that our model should be able to reflect users' topic and tag preference. But in many times, a lot of users post irrelevant content in between, and some users do not even post content that much. So this makes our content signal noisy and sparse. So to overcome this challenge, we turn to the next contextual factor, which is geospatial influence. So generally, geospatial influence varies for different locations and tags. So here, let me show you a heat map of users who are known as entrepreneurs. So you can see from this figure that more entrepreneurs are located in San Francisco than in other locations. So what about politics? So as we can see from this figure, more politicians are located in Washington, D.C. than other locations. So these two simple observations is telling us that locations have varying preference over tags. So how do these observations affect our model? So let me illustrate this with a simple example. So we have four users: Mike, John, Bob, and Lily. So Mike and John is located in the same city, which is San Francisco, and Bob and Lily is in the same city, which is Washington, D.C. So since John is located in San Francisco, and without knowing his other contextual factors, we can safely assume that John is more likely to be known as entrepreneur than politics. So similarly goes for Lily. So without knowing her other contextual factors, we can also safely assume that Lily is more likely to be known as politics than entrepreneur, because Lily is in the same city as Bob, which is Washington, D.C. So from this simple example, we can say that our model should be able to reflect location's preference over users' known-for profile. So let's turn to the last contextual factor, which is social influence. So generally, users' social influence varies according to different locations and tags. So again, let me illustrate with a simple example. So we have two users, Mike and Jay, and both of them are known as ad and startup. So here, Mike is followed by users who are known as startup. And however, for Jay, he is mostly followed by users who are known as ad. So from this simple example, we can see that users usually have different social influence for different tags. So this indicates that our model should be able to reflect users' social influence, varies for different tags. So together, we can integrate all of these users' contextual factors into a collective probabilistic Poisson factorization. And we can see that users' overall representation can be obtained through the combination of users' content, location, and social influence. And we can learn these latent parameters through variational inference. So for experimental studies, we need to use the data set of users known for profile. However, it is very hard for us to obtain such kind of data without spending a lot of human labeling effort. So here, we use a sample of 12 million geotag Twitter lists as approximation. So basically, a Twitter list is a list of users which are labeled by some labelers with some specific tag to indicate the topic of this list. So if a user is labeled by many labelers with a specific tag, then we consider that this user is known for this tag. So here, in this example, Mike is assumed to be known for fitness. So in this fashion, we collect about 20,000 users and about 1,000 tags, and their users' tweets and their social relations. So for baselines, we adopted baselines with only content, which includes k-nearest neighbor-based methods and 1VS REST multi-label classification, and Wasabi, which is a bilinear embedding method, and our content-based Poisson factorization. And we also use another baseline, which is based on content plus geo, and a different baseline, which is content and social, and our finally, our proposed method. So for the first experiment, we conducted the experiment to see if content-based Poisson factorization improves over other content baselines. As we can see from this figure, content-based Poisson factorization achieves better performance than the rest of content-based methods. So for the second experiment, we conducted experiments to see if different combinations of these users' contextual factors can improve over the baseline with only content. So we can see that the combination of geo and content factors can improve over the only content-based methods. So does the integration of social influence and content. And our proposed method gives the best performance of all. So here, in this table, we show the top tags learned by our model across different locations. We rank the tags by the expected affinity of location and tag factors. And as we can see from this table, so top tags vary for different locations. And they are very characteristics of different locations. So this table is showing us that our model is able to learn the location's preference over these tags. So finally, I want to show you a table where we show most socially influential tags learned by our model. And here, I give you two examples. So the first, Renee, our model learned that her most socially influential tags are fit and nutrition, so which exactly corresponds to her first two self-identified interests in her profile. And for the second example, as we have seen earlier, she is mostly known for marketing and PR, and our model is able to correctly learn that her most socially influential tags are marketing and PR. So to conclude, we defined the problem of discovering users known for profile in social media and proposed the method Bayesian contextual Poisson factorization. And we demonstrate that it is able to capture the implicit relationships between users known for profiles and their contextual factors. And we evaluate this method over Twitter data sets, and we see a good improvement in precision and recall. Thank you.
Questions? So maybe let me start with a question. You showed some Twitter profiles, and you had different types of tags, known for tags and personal interest tags.
Yes.
So now this approach seems to be really advantageous for finding out your known for tags.
Right.
Now, when you remove that, what's left? Is it, is it sort of the collectively exhaustive, and what you left with is personal interest, or is it something else going on? Like, for example, now that you identify one part, and I want to see, like, okay, so what does the other part of the user profile? Can I understand that a little bit more?
Basically, we want to separate, like, given a user's many self-identified interests, we basically just want to separate what users are known for from their personal interests. So you can definitely use these other personal interests for other user models, but here in our work, we are more focused on what users are known for, so that these are considered like distinguished user profiles and can be used to find knowledgeable users from different domains.
I was just trying to sort of think maybe the fact that you can remove now known for and get like a more pure personal taste, maybe those are the ones that you should use for like personalized recommendations. And
right.
If you remove your known for, perhaps
right.
that the rest can, for example, use, to
right.
improve
That's
like regular recommender system's accuracy.
That's a very good point. Yeah. Hi.
Thank you. I wondered how well it scales. I guess you're using VI, which is nice, but can you scale it to all of Twitter, or maybe 1 million Twitter users?
Actually, I just left the scaling complexity out, and I was wondering maybe someone would ask this question. So I use Poisson factorization, Poisson distribution to model this problem because Poisson factorization is like this complexity is, I think it scales with the non-zero of the matrix. So if the matrix is really sparse, then Poisson factorization can take advantage of the less number of non-zero, so which would definitely improve your complexity. So compared to traditional matrix factorization, then it will give a better computational advantage.
Great, thank you.
Other questions? Okay. Let me ask one more quick question. So in your work, social influence, I think it's very understandable how it helps to identify what you're known for.
Right.
Because that's exactly, people follow, that means you're known to those people.
Right.
Now, location, however, sort of gives me a pause, right? Because like, why is location an identifier or is helpful in understanding what you're known for, and not, let's say, for your personal preferences? Because a lot of times people, with similar tastes and preferences may choose to live in similar places. If you are a runner or like sailing, right, you're going to go and live by the lake. And
yes,
it's not necessarily that you are, sailing
Yes.
celebrity, but.
So that's a good question. So we basically conclude that location is a good signal for this problem because we conduct a statistical experiment to see how location corresponds to users' known-for profile. So definitely, it is a noisy signal, but statistically speaking, this gives us like a signal that we can utilize to improve the performance of the problem.
Thank you very much.
So thank you.